Well, hello there, social media family. Been of any persons among yourselves, as you are, from subscribers to visitors alike, who are supposedly still affiliated or associated with and are representing my own particular YouTube social media channel and likewise chat comment section. How are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, and on stage for the record to be feeling and for that matter doing all right, or if not best of all, where it's any of your family and friends as well as just that being of you and yours and me and mine for that matter can or could possibly claim to have become a bit of a status, whereas any could possibly say that one is feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. And moving right along. And let's just get to it. Being that is dive into the present social media broadcast as we have it. And being of some such video content to complement the name title thereof, the same the said in question, and or the aforementioned. You know. And whereas I myself personally am not feeling too good or great at the moment. Being that because of a number of, well, whatever I've said, you know. They say no pain, no gain. You know. But then, the average person will want to find out some kind of way to relieve any kind of pain, I myself personally had just got through, masturbating, choking my chicken, regardless of whether or not I had busted a nut, And that's less two evils being of a prodigal son, where the worst two evils is in those closet devil worshippers who make up most churchgoers being of whatever religious denominations, from the pools to the pulpits. And not even so equals well, but especially when it comes to the prosperity preacher men who outnumber their religious female rival counterparts, a woman who be also fleecing the flocks, taking for a ride, gullible herds of cattle, pulling the wool over others' eyes, killing their eardrums with, that is so much religious hype, supposedly different or an updated version of the Jonestown Kool-Aid mix punch that they would brainwash them with, these false religious leaders, religious cult leaders with their religious cults of mega churches stretching a couple few city or suburban blocks. And as they go about stealing from the tithe offering trays of tax-free money, and as they drain bank accounts dry, like as if they are squeezing blood out of a turnip, and drain others' life savings to support as well as finance their expensive alternative lifestyle preferences at others' expense, or with others' hard-earned cash money to either put down a sub total down payment, or worse yet, make a sum total purchase, as in buy another, like say how you say, expensive mansion, luxury, chauffeur driven motor vehicle, automobile, private helicopter, private jet, private plane, private yacht for that matter. And then from there, send their gullible sheep, or gullible flocks of sheep, or, you know, gullible herds of cattle to the poorhouse, that's to the doghouse, the poorhouse, rescue mission, shelter, the crazy house, as well as to the jailhouse. You know, after they would cause their gullible fool victims, you know, as it would have blinded them or hypnotized that person, would cause them to well, I think it's the general idea of what I'm trying to say, you know, and make them more of a casualty of supernatural spiritual warfare than what one, being the average person, could have possibly already, you know, comes to experiencing before going to church on a weekend, you know, coming from some such others. But then, nothing like the dog would change the subject. And as a backtrack here, so I can get to the original one, and speaking upon myself, you know, so I'm feeling quite a bit of a punk, you know, and being that because partly the reason I'm feeling like so as the thing in my time is then because, you know, I had lost my loved ones, my grandma and my mom, and a couple, two brothers at that, about something like for a time frame period, about from a decade to a decade and a half from the loss of some such others, you know, being a matriarch, maternal heads of my own immediate personal family household. That's their household. Or I had the church family as well. Yes. In addition to that being my self-help recovery family and my own immediate personal family household. You know, yeah. I've been feeling like kind of like, you know, this side of it. You know, I don't know, like dead man walking, like some kind of a robot or zombie, you know. And to compliment that one vintage classic pop culture song number, "The Thrill Is Gone, the Thrill Is Gone Away." I mean, I be feeling like Frankenstein, but not where it's I would, you know, grab a little girl, okay, if you know what I mean, when you're trying to fill in the blanks. Yeah. Or a little boy for that matter. Mister, come play with me. Here, you want a flower? Remember the vintage classic pop culture horror movie flick, or Hollywood, or Hollywood, California motion picture production. Anyway, though, let me just get back to the original subject matter. I'm sorry. I apologize for the compulsive physical disorder in which I myself am going to have to, in due time, have to see a dermatologist about. And so I suspect this is just one of some such other physical health issues that could have been caused by this main neighbor from damn hell, male character who has been attempting to make my life a living damn hell for the longest. As he himself is a local Vicentiary neighborhood community drug pusher, of a black male character whose creepy, cowardly, faggoty self as he resides as a tenant, just a couple of few apartment doors down from me on the same floor level in the building here. And whereas he has attempted to do a number upon me, one regard another, more ways one. And as I gave you all the Cliff Notes version of what he himself has been attempting to do for the longest. For as long as I can remember or care to, being of which I really don't, but then I would have to at least stay alert in some degree so that, you know, he himself won't attempt to pull a fast one on me. You know, if you know what I mean. But anyway, though, these are some of his 2 cent power plays, from stalking me into the management office of the real estate administrative representative personnel, whereas all I'm going in there to do is to transact business, which is to, renew my apartment rental lease. Although I was having misgivings about it, being because of him, but then I didn't have anything available of an apartment vacancy upon short notice, whereas I could possibly get back to much more familiar territory, being of a Vicente area neighborhood community that is less poverty stricken with all of this food deserts and likewise less crime ridden. But anyway, though, getting back to something such a, and once he had followed me into the management office, he had attempted to flip the script, you know, to attempt to make it seem like he's the prey and I'm the predator parasite. To at one time or another, you know, he nearly rode his bicycle bike, to simply say, into my person, you know, and whereas he didn't bother to say excuse me, so they told me right then and there that he himself had done that on purpose to spook me, etc. Or maybe it was attempting to do just that, being which is to, you know, that is extremely and violently assault or attack me. Then it took to make it seem like an accident if he had hit me with his bicycle. So I had to call the police on him for that hate crime in his own right of a civil human rights violation offense, to how he had nearly had attempted, nearly, I say nearly, he had practically just as, almost practically, if not possibly just as close as he come to my person the last time, this other time after that, and then he's like saying, I got something for you. I'm getting on my cell phone and saying from there, well, let me let my police friends know that you have something for me, okay? And then he rolled off. Two at one time or another, you know, he himself is like, uh, telling me that if I call the police upon him again, we're going to have problems. So I did, because I thought that was a threat. To at one time or another, he himself is running down the sidewalk, you know, wait till I leave the building to do that, and is running behind me, like he's running after me, and had one hand in his coat or jacket pocket, regardless of what season of the year it was at that given time. It would be for a cold winter season or hot summer season. And he had one hand in his coat or jacket pocket. And whether or not he was packing heat or packing a piece, I wasn't going to, stick around and find out, where he run down the sidewalk. And I'm trying to think to become a part of the ridership of mass transit or public transportation system with all of this many different bus and train routes for the train station right across the street from the building where we're at. And then, whereas I had to change my mind after he had pulled that crap, like, you know, he is about to attempt to snuff my light out, or snuff that it'll take my life from me. So I had to call the police on him again for that emergency crisis of a life threat against my person too at one time or another. You know, whereas I see him spotted, noticed, witnessed, or whatever I've said, himself, standing in the entrance and exit way of the building. And while he's on the phone, and I think he could be calling some more of his accomplices in crime or homies or some to begin with, and not already there to attempt to give me the business in some such a way. Whereas, you know, he must have run from the front of the building to the back after I changed my mind, took a detour to try to enter in via one or two back doors, and whereas he himself would go in and out of mainly or mostly the back door that is next to my apartment, regardless of the lock mechanism being jammed and needs repairs, whereas he would prop something in between the door and the border to make sure he can come and go as easily as he could, like he was thinking to do so with the other back door to the building that needs not any repairs, then because there's nothing wrong with its lock mechanism. And whereas I barely got into my apartment, closed and locked my apartment door, and he's standing right outside it, cussing and swearing, misbehaving like himself is practically my possible verge of kicking my apartment door in a physical way, and at the same time, I'm like in my own apartment, listening to him on the opposite end of my apartment door. I just hold, I just how I say, just so managed is what I'm gonna say, to get off an emergency telephone call to the police by dialing emergency telephone number 911. Regardless, my cell phone was dying, and I'm recharging it at the same time. Yeah. Anyway, so he himself could possibly be the main reason why I'm feeling like so at the moment, like I'm crying like a little beach. But anyway, yeah, and a number of other things that he does cause me problems to make my life a living damn hell. I've never done or said anything to him to justify or warrant all of that on his part of hostility or hatred, jealousy for that against my person, to use appropriate, correct word. Because it's not for me if he's not doing something that would prove to become or be not only my better interest, but in his as well, for the general welfare of both upon a positive note of interest. So he's coming against me with all this nonsense, And I'm just trying to grin and bear it, till I save up enough money, hopefully by remembering to stop gambling in a way of my own personal finances, but rather limited to fixed income so that I can have money saved up, not just for even so moving expenses, but to pay the first month's rent to a new landlord in the future and in a better neighborhood compared to where I'm at now, because this guy is trying to drive me up the wall and then some. And that key's the reason for, you know, my well-being seems to have declined in any regard, until I were to, you know, get is start to feeling better once again, quite well. Yeah. And I am a suicide attempt survivor. Yeah. I was about to show you. I can't remember. What's that? Yeah, I'm feeling quite a bit of a funk, y'all. So pray for me and you who are the household of faith, the family of God. You know, just pray for me because I'm just not feeling it. You know, feeling the funk and uh, uh, but then I say this in closing. You know, that is even if I have to force myself to say it, if it don't come naturally, that is, if you don't have Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, except now my blood still running warm in your veins. I recognize and realizing what he himself had done, did upon the cross, Calvary, on the hill of the gold, suffering Dan, the Roman soldier upon the orders of their superiors, religious, political, military, etc. But being mainly, mostly as they would be known, commonly called in or commonly known as, the likes of religious Pharisees and Sadducees in ancient times. Yeah. Whereas if any of us were to profess some of such faith in them, from there we come and be blessed. And one regard another more with one. First and foremost, with salvation being which is the only means by which any of us can or could possibly become or be considered as citizens of the kingdom of heaven. Then second of all, with his deliverance, that would complement the salvation. Being the only means of entrance into the kingdom of heaven and the only fire assurance against the lake of fire down hell. You know. And all roads do not lead to heaven, Oprah. And whereas the majority of most who have rejected Christ's salvation, they would be in for a rude awakening once they would cross on over to the other side, being most who are there to stay compared to the few who could possibly be blessed with a beyond and back experience and come back in this world and then reverse that decision of having rejected Christ as their personal Lord and Savior and then accept him as some of such being, so that they don't have to worry about what kind of eternity they're going to be living, or rather, should I say, dying in the afterlife, you know. And where there's a great gulf fixed between believers and non-believers or unbelievers, whereas those in hell cannot cross over that great divide that separates heaven from hell and come on over to the other side to we who are citizens of the kingdom of heaven, and neither nor can we cross on over to their side, you know, and to complement the good book story about Lazarus and the rich man. Okay. There was something else I was about to say, but I can't remember. I know I'm feeling the funk though. And as a result of some developments, one guy or another called me. I feel like this here. Hope I don't go back to drinking and smoking and then some. But then if I don't produce any other material other than this here to further notice, unless God says otherwise, then you all can consider me dead, having been murdered or killed by somebody, or, I could possibly have been thrown in jail after being framed by somebody, or I could have been thrown into the crazy house, you know. So I'm just letting you all know, warning you before then, so that if in the future you be wondering where my broadcast at and be looking for some of such come from me, it'll be because of those three that I mentioned that I wouldn't be able to produce any material, up under those circumstances, as I was saying, more or less. Hey, but then you all take care, be safe, be blessed, not stressed. Talk to you later.